Alright, welcome to the 2024 AI Models Awards ceremony. Grab your cup of tea or coffee, whatever you prefer, and we are going to give away 12 different awards. This is the award that they're going to get. I don't have a big production unit for me to create a better award. This is something that my kid designed. So this is the award that we're going to give these companies. We're going to give award in 12 different categories, starting from the best coding model until going up to the best developer friendly model. And each of these categories is highly opinionated thought. It's not based on LLMs arena. It's not based on the benchmarks that they release. I've worked with a lot of companies trying to craft AI strategy for them. So this is based on my learning and what I tell people. So if you were to watch one video before 2024 ends, this is probably one video that could give you a summary of what kind of AI models that you can probably use. First category is the best coding model. I think this is undoubtedly one of the biggest category that everybody is interested in, because if you were to develop applications like Cursor, where you want coding assistance, or if you were to develop solutions like Lovable, Data Button, Bold.new, you need a strong foundation model that can help you write programs, computer codes. This has been one of the most progressed area in 2024, in my personal opinion. Models have become really good at writing computer programs, much better than me. Like very couple of days back, I just gave a documentation that was in JavaScript. I gave it to a model, in this case it was ChatGPT, and asked it to give me the code back in Python. And then it just did without a single line of mistake. And I was quite surprised how it can do this. But this winner is not from OpenAI. The best coding model for 2024 is Claude 3.5 Sonnet from Anthropic. Claude 3.5 Sonnet is this model where you can go with a coding problem and then it would most likely solve it for you, as long as the problem is not very niche. You're not writing assembly, you're not writing C. If it is like a very popular programming language, Python, JavaScript, HTML, any JavaScript stack, this is a model that you should probably blindly use to solve your coding problems. In fact, people who use Cursor know that very well, that Claude 3.5 Sonnet has been one of the biggest, strongest backers of Cursor. And that is why Cursor is quite good, because Claude 3.5 Sonnet is really good. The next one is the biggest surprise of the year. And when I wanted to give this award, like I had a lot of different models in thought, like in fact, like in multimodality. But the one that I decided that this is the biggest surprise of the year for me personally is OpenAI O1. This is the first model that was productionized, users could use it, and that came with test time scaling. And no other model had done this before. And even if there were like a lot of papers, like I have videos probably like 1.5 years old, where we had a framework called Reflection, and that framework was telling how these models can actually go through different kind of an answer and then get back to you. We also did a podcast with the AMO, I think first winner or second winner or third winner, I'm sorry. But what they did is they also built a lot of candidate models, generated candidate response during test time, and then they picked one of the one by majority voting, and then finally that model did the better one. So, but there was no single endpoint, like a model that could do this. And I think OpenAI O1, or OpenAI in particular, deserves a huge amount of respect for bringing in this perspective. Chain of thought existed, but OpenAI O1 actually came in and then say that, okay, we are going to deliver a model, even if it is not like really high quality. See, the model was not like top quality. Even if it is not going to be high quality, we came and delivered a model that completely shifts how people are thinking about LLMs. Not just anything about pre-training anymore, but it is also about test time scaling. So I think OpenAI O1 deserves a huge rank vote, or this award. Sam Altman, if you want to collect it, please reach out to me. If you were to give a second runner-up, I would have probably given this to O3. Or if I were to give a runner-up without OpenAI, I would have given it to the DeepSeek, the very latest DeepSeek model that kind of crushes the OpenAI models in benchmarks. The only reason I did not give DeepSeek as the biggest surprise of the year is because I kind of agree with Sam Altman here, because it's very easy for you to take a model's response and then fine tune another model and then beat the benchmark. Rather really hard for you to design the foundation model, which in itself is a really good model. I think OpenAI deserves the respect that they need there, and DeepSeek from China is a really good model. But the biggest surprise of the year for me personally, changing a shift in thinking about how frontier model should work, OpenAI O1 deserves this award. Let's get this one out of the way. The biggest disappointment of the year, again, a very personalized thought, like you can have like different opinions. For me personally, a company that I believed would come and challenge OpenAI like anything. That's what I thought. It's a French company, you might have guessed at this point, but somehow it did not do it. They've released a lot of models this year. They've gone into different trajectories. I'm happy that they still exist. They did not go down like stability. I mean, stability still exists. They did not go down like stability in the way like the CEO was fired or like CEO left the company and all these kind of unnecessary shenanigans. But this company, I honestly thought they would be right up at the top, but it is not. This is Mistral. If you do not know the company, I loved Mistral 7 billion parameter model. But after that, I hardly saw anything that was like, mind blowing, that could completely change the paradigm or that could challenge the industry leader. In fact, they went on to a path where, like stability, they said, okay, these models, like once Mistral was like the open source flag bearer, but they went into this path where they said, okay, you can use these models for research purposes, but you cannot use this model for commercial purposes. Kind of like a disturbing path. But I know companies have to make money. There are venture capitalists waiting for you to make money. I know the pain of running a company. I'm not running a company, I'm just running a YouTube channel. But for me personally, the biggest disappointment of the year is the French company Mistral. The fourth award is the biggest or the best large context model. So either the biggest context window, or you want to call it, or the best large context model. And this is a category that is very, very important for a lot of things that you do in life. For example, imagine I want to create a model with all the items in my room, and then I want the model to have the memory of it, not the only the in context memory, but the complete memory of what it has. So every time I can store, like have a memory layer, store everything in that, and then I can retrieve it during my inference time, send it to the model, and if I were to do those things, I want the model to have really long context window, the ability to have long context window. I think in my mind, there is no other model comes closer to this model that has done this job extremely well. And if I were to use one model just for its long context, despite the pain of dealing with the model, that is without any doubt Gemini 1.5 Pro. Gemini 1.5 Pro and Gemini 1.5 Flash are the models that you should blindly use if you want the largest context. If you want to build a memory layer for LLMs, you want to build like an AI therapist, you want to build an AI tutor, you want to have profile of the users, and you want to send all these things during the inference time, I think without any doubt, you can blindly use the best large context model, which is Gemini 1.5 Pro. Now, coming to the smallest size, the best small model that in my opinion is the Qwen 3 billion parameter or a less than 3 billion parameter model. Qwen is company. Qwen is a product from Alibaba, I guess. So this is like basically a Chinese model. So it does a pretty good job. It's not like predominantly multilingual like Mistral, but it does a pretty good job of giving you everything that you want. They've got like different domain specific models like math model, coding model. So Qwen, undoubtedly the less than 3 billion parameter model is really good ones if you were to pick up it for any particular task that you want to do in your local computer. The best underrated model or the most underrated model in my opinion, so you might think about like a lot of different models. The model comes in, a lot of YouTubers like me, we speak about those models. Like for example, we are like unpaid PR units for OpenAI, companies like Anthropic, companies like Google. But there is like this one particular model I've always felt like a less number of people speak about it, a variety of reasons, and they contribute to open source ecosystem. They release mostly open weights, they're quite transparent, publishing papers and all these things. And that model, the most underrated model in my opinion, is the Qwen family of models. Qwen, you can collect it from China if you want. So I believe Qwen has been this model that is really hitting the top of the mark sometimes, but hardly been spoken about. And they do what they do really good. They're not trying, at least in my opinion, they're not trying to help you replace your OpenAI API call in that particular place. But if you've got a router and if you want one of the models, Qwen is really good. The coding model is good. If you want to use their smaller models, they're good. They've got the larger models, they're good. They've got a vision model that is good. So overall, if you see a package that is like highly underrated, not a lot of people talk about, that is your Qwen family of models. The next one is the best fastest model. Like if you care about only speed, the inference speed, I'm not talking about using Grok, I'm not talking about using let's say Cerebra systems or any other service provider accelerated endpoint. Just talking about generally, if there is a model, if you want the fastest response, there are two ways for you to approach it. One, you can either go in the route of a smaller model, like I said, go to Quen and then use it, or honorable mention for a smaller model as well, like Phi. I don't know how many of you use Phi from Microsoft. If you happen to use Phi, let me know in the comment section, because I personally do not know a lot of people using, but I think Phi has grown into its own ecosystem at this point. So, but you don't want to go in the route of a smaller model. You want to go in the route of a really like good model, but you want fast. I will close my eyes and then say that Gemini 2.0 Flash is the model that you should pick if speed is your primary concern, without trading off quality and accuracy a lot. Google has nailed it. Gemini 2.4 Flash is quite amazing. I don't exactly know how bad the rate limits are, and I have not signed up for Vertex to use it. So if you are one of those going through the pain of using it through Vertex, I can understand the pain that you have to go through with GCP. But if you're using it from AI Studio from Google, or if you're using it from AI Studio's API key, then this is one of the best models, coming also with a very long context window, but also really fast model. So Gemini 2.0 Flash is really, really good. The next one is the best multimodal model. So if you were to pick a model that is good with processing images, that is good with processing text, and if you were to process video as well, like natively, there are very few models in this world that can do. Like once again, going back to the same example, if I were to take, let's say I've got a CCTV footage in my room, which I do not have at this point. Why would I have CCTV inside my bedroom? But let us say for the sake of discussion, I've got a CCTV footage. I've got to check with my wife if she's got anything in there. But if I've got a CCTV footage and I want to send it to a model, maybe like 40 minutes, I want to send it to a model and then ask for insights. Maybe I've got like a rack of books. I want to read all the books. Maybe I've got like recipes in my refrigerator, ingredients in my refrigerator or kitchen. I want to find out what are the things that I can make with this. There is, I think, only one model that can do a tremendously good job in this case. Once again, it is Gemini 1.5 Pro. I think this model has nailed multimedia processing like anything. The images with audio, video. I'll tell you a thing. If you know about ASR, automatic speech recognition, which is a process in which you give the speech as a feed and then you do a bunch of things. One of the important things that people do with speech recognition or speech to text is speaker diarization. Very important for podcasts. Like there are a lot of different ways to do it. If you're from traditional machine learning background, you know about k-means clustering, which is an unsupervised learning technique. So you can in fact build a k-means cluster with k is equal to 2 if you know there are only 2 speakers, and then do speaker diarization. There are different methods. But if you were to pick an LLM, like a large language model that natively processes audio and that can do speaker diarization for you, I believe Gemini 1.5 Pro is the only model probably that can do. I've not tested it with GPT-4o. I've done like commentary with GPT-4o, but not like audio processing. So you can do audio processing, you can do video processing, you can do image processing, you can generate text. One of the best models if you were to do multimedia, best multimodal generation, best multimodal model. So Google, Sundar, if you want to visit Tamil Nadu anytime, I can come and give it to you. Probably others I told come and collect it. Sorry Sundar, I cannot come and give it to you. You have to collect it from me. The next one is the best agentic model. If there is one model that is really, really good for agentic tasks, like top notch, you want to build a research agent, you want to build like a multi-agent system, you want to use Pydantic AI, you want to use Crew AI, you want to use PyAutogen AI, you don't want to use any framework, you're fed up of all the frameworks, you want to write your own code and use it for agents. See, the best agentic model is not very difficult to guess, because a good agentic model should have two good things. One, it should have good reasoning capability. Second, it should have good coding capability. So what is a model that is good with reasoning and coding? If you think, then you would say that it is none other than Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So Claude 3.5 Sonnet, without any doubt, is the best agentic model that is available in this world at this point. If you want to build agents, this is the best model. Now we are almost at the tail end of this video, so only 3 more awards are there. The best or the most valuable model, in my opinion. So if you were to pick a model, so as you know, this entire structure I've copied it from somebody like MKBSD and Mr. Who's the Boss. Like these are tech YouTubers I've been following for many years. They've done smartphone reviews, smartphone year-end awards. I've diligently watched that. I don't know if anybody is going to watch this video on 31st December. I don't know how many of you are at home to watch this video, but I wanted to put out this video kind of like mimicking what those guys do in the smartphone world. So based on that, if you were to, so they what they do is they pick an MVP smartphone, like one smartphone that is really good at everything. It's not like good at one thing. It is almost like kind of an averagely good at everything, but collectively it is the best model that you can use. The same concept. If you were to pick one most valuable model, like if somebody comes to me and then says, hey, Abdul, like nobody's going to call me one little coder in my real life. They're going to say, hey, Abdul, this is a model I want to use for coding. Can you suggest me? Or maybe I want to use this model also for reasoning. Can you suggest me? Or maybe it's good if the model can also do like image processing. Can you suggest me? Hey, but I also want to use this model for, let's say, some part of like planning task. Maybe I want to use this model to solve harder problems. What is that model that you would suggest? Let me know in the comment section. But if somebody asks me that question, close my eyes, I will blindly say the only model that you should go pick is Claude 3.5 Sonnet. No doubt, it's not Claude 3.5 Opus because there is no Claude 3.5 Opus. A lot of people call this Claude 3.6 Sonnet. So whatever you would like to call it, Claude 3.5 Sonnet U, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Claude 3.6 Sonnet, whatever you would like to call it. I think Anthropic has cooked really good model. I mean, what are the intentions that they left OpenAI, safety and all these things if you kept it aside? They've built a really, really good model. So there you or anybody from Anthropic, if you want this award, please reach out to me. Oh, the most valuable model, I would say Claude 3.5 Sonnet. They've hit the benchmark. Even thinking models are trying to beat what Claude 3.5 Sonnet has done. So there is something definitely they've done quite amazing in the pre-training that people are still trying to beat it. Again, a very surprising thing, Claude 3.5 Sonnet is not the leaderboard topper on LLMs. Don't know what is happening, but if you have to go with the vibe check or if you have to go with the awards presented by one little coder, you should say Claude 3.5 Sonnet is the best model. We have two more categories left. What are the two more categories? The best developer friendly model. See, I know most valuable model. Now you may be like, hey, Abdul, I want to build a SaaS. I'll be like, don't go with Claude 3.5 Sonnet. They've got a terrible infra. I mean, if you have paid for Anthropic Pro, you probably would know that half of the time it is almost like, you can't use this model or they're down. So they've got a terrible infra. I think if there is one company in this world that has figured out infra like anybody, that is definitely Google. But I'm not going to suggest Google for this thing because I don't think they're best developer friendly model. Their Vertex platform is still a pain to use. You can use it with AI Studio, but there's a lot of confusion, a lot of experimental model. So if you want to build a SaaS, software as a service, using one LLM endpoint, like not multiple LLM endpoints, using one LLM endpoint, one model that you want to be rock solid in scaling, infra, lesser downtime, and the model should do all these things good, like Claude 3.5 Sonnet, but except it's not from Anthropic. Without a doubt, it is GPT-4o. This is still a good model, a really good model. Doesn't click as much as Claude 3.5 Sonnet would click. But if you are a developer, you want to use a model that should do well with the SaaS, software as a service, to build products, applications, Android applications, iOS applications, you should go with the OpenAI GPT-4o, the best developer-friendly model or the most perfect model to build your product on a business on. The final section, I'm going to leave the final section. The final section is the biggest disaster model of the year. So if there is one model that got launched, announced launch / whatever you would like to call it, and it had the biggest disaster in terms of PR, in terms of quality, I would say, I don't know how many of you remember, this is the Reflection 70 billion parameter model. I don't want to go deeper into the controversy there. I think the fundamental principle behind Reflection was quite amazing because Reflection came into picture, then OpenAI O1 came into picture, except that Reflection did not reflect on the promises that they made. Reflection probably is one of the biggest disasters. People started becoming more skeptical whenever open model came into picture. So biggest disaster of the year, Reflection. That award goes to you. Please don't collect this award from me. But otherwise, I think this was a great year for AI models. I've got the best video generation model, Minimax from China. We have got Halo AI, or we have got Kling 1.5. We have got a lot of other these categories where these models are doing tremendously good. Google has got like an experimental or a beta model for video generation. VO2, we've got Sora within ChatGPT Plus subscription. So this year has been really great for AI models. So if you are watching this video, I would love to know what is the model that I missed. What is it something that you are looking forward for 2025? Let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm so grateful that you're watching my video. See you in another video. Happy prompting.